All right. Hello, Huggies. Cool. So hopefully this will work. Yesterday it kind of did. So cool. So the idea here is that if you're watching this, you have any questions whatsoever, if you're watching it live, then you can type comments into the box as we go. There's also emojis, keep it clean. So hello, I just typed. Or if you're watching it after the fact, then you can comment on the video, or you can comment on Google Classroom about anything. Basically, just ask any questions that you have. It's the whole point. Whole point is just helping you guys, and I hope that this helps. And I'm not sure if it does, but here we go. So awesome. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you've started watching Tiger King because dang, that is awesome. So what I want to do is, in theory, you finish looking over the different forms of agriculture in developing regions. And then the next half is to look at commercial agriculture. And so that's going to be in developed regions. So before we move on to that, just wanted to make sure that we were clear on what we need to focus on. So the most important parts in the first half of 9.3 are shifting cultivation, issues with the future of shifting cultivation, and then when we're looking at wet rice dominant subsistence farming. So those are the two most important. Why shifting cultivation? Because it's slash and burn, and that's intense. There's huge environmental consequences to slash and burn agriculture. And that's what a lot of the videos that are posted in my link will help you with that, because you can actually see it getting done. So slash and burn agriculture, shifting cultivation. Why does that matter? Because it's not just a form of agriculture. There's environmental consequences to it. It's subsistence agriculture, so it's not necessarily something people are doing by choice. It's because this is what the climate of the region tells them they have to do. This is what necessity is dictated. So all of those things are going to contribute to it. And how can you get some interesting notes on that? Looking at the future of shifting cultivation. So if you haven't looked at it yet, I'm going to page 321. If you have your book. So you go to page 321, and that's where it says the future of shifting cultivation. So the future of slash and burn agriculture. So let's go ahead and take a couple notes on that before we look over at wet rice subsistence. So on a separate note sheet before we start doing anything with agriculture in developed regions, I'm going to start taking notes. And I'm going to write a big heading at the top that says shifting cultivation. Big like that. Just so I know there are additional notes on it. Then below that, I'm going to write slash and burn. All right, so this way I know I'm just setting it up so I can have some additional notes on it. Cool. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is looking at the future shifting cultivation, page 321. I'm going to note which page I'm writing this down on. Whoop. The first parts of this, I will note before going to it, aren't necessarily the most fascinating because a lot of it is just kind of getting the key terms down. But thinking about shifting cultivation now, it's fun because then you're thinking about slash like burning down rainforests. Are you okay with burning down a rainforest? Oh, it's kind of our privilege to say whether or not we are, but it's just kind of an interesting global issue. Okay, what are we doing here? Nice. All right. Excellent. This interesting quarantine has made it be all like, am I drinking enough water? And I'm like, I don't want to drink water though. But then I have to go to the store filled with germs. Anyway, cool. So future of shifting cultivation. So I'm just looking at, woo! I just threw my pen under the oven. Now I wonder if I should get it. Yikes. Let me try. Ooh. That is going to cause some problems later. Hey, buddy. Backup pen. Okay, so land devoted to shifting cultivation is declining in the tropics at the rate of about 75,000 square kilometers, or 0.2% per year, according to the United Nations. Okay, so reading that, you don't want to memorize numbers because it's too much. There's too much information. So here we just want to go land for shifting cultivation. Is declining rapidly. So immediately as I'm reading that, I think, okay, that's a problem. This is a form of subsistence agriculture that people are using so that they can have enough food for them to eat and their families. So it's important. It's an important form of agriculture. So land for it is declining rapidly. So that's bad. Okay. Then other issues that we want to look at here. So I'm thinking, well, it's not sustainable either. Just burning down large chunks of land and then leaving, that's not something that you can always do. Eventually, the land will go away. So that's another problem. Burning all of that stuff, all of those fossil fuels, like from the carbon emissions going to the atmosphere, that can't be good either. So I'm looking at this thinking, well, basically that. Don't want to get too judgmental because I don't know and I benefit from commercial agriculture. So it's a lot about the process I can't appreciate. Anyway, moving on. The amount of Earth's surface allocated to tropical rainforests has already been reduced to less than half of its original area. For until recent years, the World Bank supported deforestation with loans. Okay, now it's getting a bit on. Okay. So land for shifting cultivation, okay, it's declining rapidly. I'm going to create an additional note here. You see that? To note that it's the rainforest. Okay. And then the next thing, it says the shifting cultivation is being replaced. So I'm going to do that. Replaced with cattle ranching. Logging and cash crops. Okay. I wonder if people just kind of skim through this. Anyway, so we want to do that. So immediately, going down, I see developing countries see shifting cultivation as an inefficient way to grow food in a hungry world. Indeed, compared to other forms of agriculture, shifting cultivation can support only a small population in an area without causing environmental damage. Okay, great. So that's something that I definitely want to know. Shifting cultivation is not sustainable. So it's not sustainable where it's not something where it's not a good solution. It's not a good option for people. Can't support a large population without causing environmental damage. Mhm. Okay, so you get all that written down. Do, do, do. If you want to feed people, think about it just the way you want it to be when you want to eat. You want it to be easy, you want it to be cheap. You want it to be something that's relatively close to where you live. If it's not convenient to get, then you're probably not going to go there. At Kenwood, one of the reasons why like those local gas stations just slay is because it's so close to the school. Whole Foods is always threatening to stop letting Kenwood kids go there. But it's never going to because there's so many people can give them money. So it's like food is a big thing about what's nearby, what's easy to get, and what's gonna get the job done if you're hungry. Really, I don't know if anyone's hungry right now. I don't know if you guys eating. You're eating, hopefully, food, good food. I'm gonna check. It's still order pizza. I don't know if we're doing that. Anyway, moving on. So big things that we got here now, shifting cultivation, the land for it's going away. It's not sustainable because it can't support a large population without causing environmental damage. Just repeating that there. Yeah. All right, to its critics, awesome. So when I see critics, I immediately am reminded of, oh, that reminds me of how Malthus had critics too. So if you see critics, that's great. That means that it's something that you can and should have an opinion on that people will later want to ask you about. So if I were going to ask a question about agriculture from everything that we've read so far, it's not so much going to be about diet, or it's going to be about telling me where the agricultural hearths are, because what I'm going to do with that. But saying that some people are critics of an entire agricultural practice, that's something I can hold on to. Okay, so future shifting cultivation to its critics. I'm just going to go critics, colon. This has got to be crazy. Do. Also, if anyone does watch this later and you're just thinking what I need during this time, then please just throw something in there. I'm desperate for suggestions. I can do Kahoot. I like the idea of doing a hangout though, because I miss hanging out or just talking or just getting ideas from students. Anyway, so it's critics. Shifting cultivation is at best a preliminary step in economic development. Pioneers use shifting cultivation to clear forests in the tropics and to open land for development where permanent agriculture never existed. People unable to find agricultural land elsewhere can migrate to the tropical forests and initially practice shifting cultivation. Critics say it then should be replaced by more sophisticated agricultural techniques that yield more per land area. Okay, so right there, what are our critics going for? This issue of sustainability again. So when I see ideas getting repeated, I like it because that means that I'm on the right track and I know that I'm reading something correctly. And it also means that it's something I definitely need to know. So here, critics, it's an okay form of agriculture for societies when they're starting out. Spelling. but they must switch to a more sustainable form. But okay, all right. Okay. So from there, more sustainable form, but forms of agriculture aren't suited for tropical environments. Okay. Whew, cool. All right. Just a little bit more, and then I'm going to go on to the next thing. So, large scale destruction of the rainforest also may contribute to global warming. When large numbers of trees are cut, their burning and decay release large volumes of carbon dioxide. This gas can build up in the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. You know all of that already, which is great. Talking about stuff we already know is awesome. So, shifting cultivation equals large scale destruction of the rainforests. And contributes to global warming. Okay. So that's the gist of what I want you guys to get there. For shifting cultivation. Okay, how is it practiced? Slash and burn. So slash and burn. Okay, and then where is it going to be practiced? Areas where there's a rainforest, most likely, kind of tropical areas. So that's why you're going to see it in the Amazon and South America, and you're going to see it in certain areas of Africa as well. Making sure I'm right here, not crazy. Yes. Actually, it's right here. Yes. So, sub-Saharan Africa and the Amazon, that's where you're going to get shifting cultivation. Okay? Shifting cultivation. Cool. Wet rice dominant, watch the videos that I posted about wet rice farming because it's a lot easier to understand wet rice farming when you watch the video of it. What you can see from it is like a number of things. One, how they modify the environment to suit wet rice farming. Wet rice farming, you need to have these plains flooded with water all the time. So that's where you get terracing the landscape. So terracing is when you take the landscape that maybe it's like that and you make it look like there's like the little steps in it. So that way when it rains, the water will collect there. Or if any water comes down, and it can be in hillier areas too. It's a great example of a cultural landscape. So here, yes, look at that. A beautiful example of a cultural landscape. Right there. Because when you look at it, you realize that it's not just nature. So with cultural landscapes, you're not just looking around and looking for McDonald's. Anything that shows the intervention of people, this kind of looks like a nice natural landscape, but people made it look like this, so that's why it's a cultural landscape. Wet rice not dominant. That part you need to get crop rotation. Crop rotation is a big one there. And then double cropping is the other one in this section. So double cropping, crop rotation. All right. Fishing, it's fishing. Please know it's fishing. Go fish. That's it. Overfishing, bad. Asian carp. I'm going to post some videos on this Asian carp, which is on 325, of Asian carp issues in Illinois, because it's hilarious, because you're going to see people on a boat getting slapped in the face by a fish. And that's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Hey, Mr. Mizzy. Want to wave? No one's watching. Trying to think of ways that I can make this interesting. What do you think, Mike?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm basically reading from a textbook. What do you think I should do? I'm live right now.
Is this all going to go into the video? Or are you going to edit this out?
I'm not editing anything.
This is going to be a real boring part of it.
Okay, well, the whole video is kind of rough. I don't know. Okay, cool. So he's really very funny most of the time. But oh, butter, hi, butter, oh, butter, hi, butter, oh, butter, butter. Cool. Okay. So the next worksheet I'm going to post is going to look exactly like the last one, except it's focusing on the second part of the chapter, which is all about commercial agriculture. Okay. So all of this kind of textbooky stuff, you are just kind of plowing through. You're just going to plow through. And then we're going to talk about some of the business more tomorrow that gets into von Thunen's model. But don't worry about that for now, okay? For now, the worksheet is going to look exactly like the one you did last night. And if you don't have access to a printer, cool, who cares? What you're going to do is you're going to take notes the exact same way. And you want to make sure your notes are very neat and organized because, again, AP exam is open note. So open notes, that's it. If you have notes, like everyone in here, God, so many people are paranoid. They're just like, my students can't write an FAQ. And it's just so insulting because you guys are very good writers. So you're going to crush this. It's just a matter of, do you know this term or not? And if you have notes with the term in it, then you're going to be fine. At least that's what I'd say. So cool. So commercial-based agriculture, getting into agribusiness. So let's start a heading here. Commercial. Agriculture. Cool. So made a heading. And then I'm going to put agriculture in developed countries. Because it's going to help me remember. Kind of think like this part of the notes is sort of like when you get a new game and you're reading through, especially those card games, and you're reading through all the instructions and you're like, oh my God, like I never want to play this game. It sounds really boring. And then your friends are like, no, but it's really cool. And you're like, can we not do this and maybe do something else? And then you just push through and you try it and you wind up having a lot of fun. Could be like that. I don't know how nerdy y'all's friends are who like to play card games. You know, like Magic, The Gathering, or Exploding Kitties, or something like that. Cool. So commercial agriculture, agriculture in developed countries. We are talking about our friend agribusiness. Ooh, that looks scary. Agribusiness. So when I look at that word without even worrying about definitions, I see agriculture and I see business. So I'm going to think something involving agriculture and making money. What does this say? System of commercial farming is called agribusiness. Cool. Farming for money. Business of farming. Okay. Big thing about these farms is these are not going to be family-owned farms. They're not mom and pop. Like, you don't know the people. These are corporations own these. So I'm going to write that down too. Owned by corporations or farms owned by corporations. Agricultural products. Sold to food processing companies. Here. There you go. All right. Unless you guys go to farmers markets, almost everything you buy is coming from agribusiness. We all this is agribusiness. All right. So wherever they grew the ingredients that went into this, I have no idea. But they're part of a company that eventually is going to sell it to a different company that's then going to make this drink that then is going to bottle it somewhere else and then put it all together. And bam, that's how it goes. Anyway, and this is fun because once you get into agribusiness, you're going to then want to watch Food Inc. And then if it's cool with wherever you're at, you can watch Fast Food Nation. That one's pretty awesome. And you're going to figure out that your favorite food is corn, because it is. You love corn. And it's not just an Illinois thing. It's you love corn because it's in everything that you eat. So fun story. Look at all the food that you've been consuming lately. Look at the ingredient list, and there's a corn or corn byproduct in that business. So all of it has it. I forgot this one. I think it's got stevia, if not corn directly. But yeah, everything you eat has corn in it. You love corn so much. All right, cool. Anyway. So what you're going to do then is go through that. I wonder if we can live stream watching something together. That's weird. But you're going to keep doing agribusiness, and then just like you did yesterday, take your notes on grain farming. Grain, what are we looking at? Grain is going to be stuff like wheat. Mediterranean agriculture. It's going to be the agriculture that you get in the Mediterranean. It means that it has to be really hilly. Just think about Italy, if you could, and think about foods that they'd grow in Italy. Commercial gardening and fruit farming. Then mixed crop and livestock. That's the big one, mixed crop and livestock farming. In this section, you need to know mixed crop and livestock farming. Mixed crop and livestock farming, we live in it. This is why this one unit is really cool, because we are surrounded by agribusiness. Anytime that y'all are driving around here and you see cornfields, you cannot eat that corn. That corn is not for consumption. We are surrounded by it, but we don't eat it. Why? Because that corn isn't for us. That corn is for the cows that we're going to eat. And then whatever those cows don't eat then turns into corn byproduct, which then becomes high fructose corn syrup and all sorts of other stuff. They need lots of land for this. So we are surrounded by mixed crop and livestock farming. Okay, so you want to think about this because you could think about mixed crop and livestock farming. That's going to be further away from the city. Closer to the city, we'll see some commercial gardening and fruit farming. That's where you get all your farmers markets. But yeah, lean into this mixed crop and livestock farming because this one's amazing. I think it's amazing. Ranching and dairy are very straightforward too. Okay, so focus on that. So I'll post that worksheet. Then you're going to focus on that. And then we're not going to use the book very much for key issue 4 because instead what you're going to do is I'm going to post some other stuff where it's going to be hopefully you developing your opinions on shifting cultivation and GMOs. So I'm not sure how you feel about GMOs. What are they? Genetically modified organisms. You'll often see foods that say GMO free. Do you care if something's GMO free? Looking ahead. But yeah, that's that. So I just wanted to check in and post something. This is really for you, my wonderful, amazing, fantastic students who I miss very much. I want to help. I want you to get something out of this other than just me rambling, which that's rough because, you know, it's been about 32 minutes of that. So please comments or emails about things that I can do to help you. What do you need right now? If it's not human geography related, well, how can I help? I can English. I can teach English or French, but whatever. I just want to help. I just want to help. I hope you guys are doing okay. Yeah. And with that, I will try to do this again tomorrow. So, you know, this will only get better if you tell me what to do. So that's all I got. All right. All right. Well, anyway, have a great day. Check the food labels and what you're eating because undoubtedly it's corn. Think about if slash and burn agriculture is cool with you. Where do you stand on that? Burning down the rainforest, yay or nay? And yeah, watch Tiger King. That's about it. All right. Have a good day.